All right, 9:31 Eastern Time. Opening bell just rang about a minute ago, and you can see right now the Dow is opening up here about 60 points roughly right now as the markets ended Friday's session mixed.
But the stock of UPS has been up 8% over the past month, and this is despite a looming strike. The deadline is next week, and the head of the Teamsters Union saying this over the weekend.
This company has made $100 billion. And they've rewarded Wall Street, they've rewarded CEO, they've rewarded high-level management people who have never touched a package. Now it's time to reward the people that touch those packages, the part-timers, the single moms, people that are working 2 or 3 jobs at poverty wages, and also the drivers that are out there providing goods and services, keeping supply chain solution moving.
All right, so what's going to happen next with those UPS workers? With us now, former Secretary of Labor Alex Acosta, who dealt with these kind of issues while working in the Trump administration. Secretary, welcome. What's your best guess on what we can expect next week? Will UPS and their workers go on strike?
Well, these deals usually get done at the very last minute, right before the deadline, or sometimes you've got very short-lived strikes. As a nation, I don't think we can afford a long-term UPS strike. It will affect our economy and inflation. And UPS also needs to be aware that if its customers shift to other suppliers, some of those customers may not come back. So I would think that right now UPS and the union are talking quickly. And even though the Biden administration has, for some reason, said it's not getting involved, eventually it would have to get involved to resolve this issue.
But weren't they requested to not get involved?
They were requested, and they came out and they said we won't get involved. And politically, I can see why they're saying that, because they're very close to the unions. But the reality is the administration's responsible not for just the unions, but for the economy and for all of us. And ultimately, the nation cannot afford the supply chain disruptions associated with the UPS strike. And so, irrespective of what they've said, if the strike happens and persists, I think they have to get involved.
Okay, really interesting. We, of course, have not seen the Biden administration get involved in that writers and actors strike based in California. But we'll see what happens when it comes to UPS, although unrelated. Interesting how these industries are striking right now. Meantime, Secretary, many workers, as we know, have remained working remotely since the pandemic if they're not on strike. Now, Amazon is reportedly going to make some of those employees relocate or return to the office. Bloomberg says the company is going to make workers be in the office 3 times a week. What does this tell you about the future of employment here? Is work from home on its way out?
Well, more and more CEOs are pushing back. Forbes reported earlier this month that over 1 million workers have received return to work orders. And if you look back, if you go back to before COVID, asking individuals to work from the office 3 times a week would not make news, right? So let's be clear about what Amazon's requesting: 3 days a week in the office. And there's so many issues associated with this. One that we don't talk about very much: are we creating 2 categories of workers, those that can work from home and those that can't? Because the UPS driver that we were just talking about, the restaurant worker, they don't have the luxury of working from home. It's the tech and the office workers that can. And so not only do the CEOs want them to return to the office, but as a society, we need to ask, very hard questions about what work is about and whether we want to create a stay-at-home set of workers and a work, outside the home set of workers, and create that kind of bifurcation.
I agree with you on that. I always think back to retail workers, which many of us have had those jobs. They have to come to the store each and every day through their work schedule. But if you're in the corporate side of those retail jobs, then many of them don't have to, depending on obviously which company, which essentially creates a different class of worker, if you will, and the fairness of that and how you feel about it. Secretary Alex Acosta joining us. We appreciate that. Thank you so much, sir.